Shalom. This is my instructional video for being the Shaliach Tzibur, being the leader of the congregation, the representative of the community to Hashem, to God, for the Ma'ariv service. If you're using Seder Avodah, we're on page 580. Remember that we begin this nusach with the half step, with the littlest step up from the lowest note on the ladder of the scale that you're using. If we're going to use this as the first note, we're going to go to here and then back down to 1. This is really illustrated in an earlier video, which is called Practice of Ahavah Raba, the name of the nusach. Now, without further ado, and with very little speaking and explaining, I'm going to go through all of the Ma'ariv parts that are done aloud and the Chatimot, the ends of prayers, paragraphs, if you will. Again, page 580 in Seder Avodah. Mehurachun yechaper avon velo yashchit v'hirbal hashiva po velo ya'ir kochamato Adonai Hoshia hamelech ya'anenu v'yom kor'enu Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Let the congregation respond, and then Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. A reminder that note for note is not necessary, just as long as you're staying within this framework. This next paragraph gets chanted either aloud or privately. And the Chatima, the part where the leader of the service comes in, traditionally, weekday is usually at the words El Chai V'Kayam. Because this is for education, I am saying God's name. El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael. You can say the entire paragraph and then come back for the Chatima, or simply start aloud and then have silence. You come in at Ve'ahavatecha, a word that sometimes gives people trouble. Try to say Ahava, that's in the middle of the word, Ve before it, and Techa at the end. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Now, staying in the nusach, we would chant Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, or Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Many people find it easier to sing Shema to the tune from the 19th century. Solomon Zulzer of Vienna wrote and became a hit internationally. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. That especially works when you're going to chant the Ahavta to the trope, which for Torah are also in major. Baruch Shem is done quietly. The Ahavta ain't Adonai Elohecha, etc., etc. Continuing at the end of 584, usually Ma'ariv evenings, we chant the last 4 lines. Lema antizkeruhu va'asitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Now, if you do that with Hashem Elohechem Emet, you'll be back into the nusach. Our synagogue has a tradition that when we finish it, we sing still in major, Adonai Elohechem Emet, which again won't be a problem if you're then going into English responsively, which is our tradition on 587, leading right into Michamocha. 587, 586 rather, at the end is where the leader comes in. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe uvenei Israel lecha anu shira besimcha rabah v'yamru chulam mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot o seifele malchutecha ra'u banecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze'eli anu v'yamru Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Now, for each one of these, you can give a moment or two for the congregation to say them silently, as it is indicated in our Siddur, congregation individually, then Shaliach Tzibur. That's you as the leader of the service. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. It helps for the congregation if you just audibly begin these paragraphs, unless you are chanting the entire thing aloud. And in any case, the Chatima is at Ushemor. Ushemor tzeiteinu uvoenu lechaim uleshalom me'ata v'yahad olam baruch ata Adonai shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. Now, I'm going to chant this again, a little bit simpler. Ushemor tzeiteinu uvoenu lechaim uleshalom me'ata v'yahad olam Baruch ata Adonai, shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. We usually, on the top of page 590, on 590, the leader comes in at the last sentence before the blessing. Ki hamalchut shelcha hi, u'liyom me'ad timloch bechavod, Ki ein lanu melech ela ata baruch ata Adonai hamelech bichvodo tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed v'al kol ma'asav. Go right into the Chadash, provided you have a minyan. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye decho Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Let the congregation say Yehei Shemei Rabah mevarach li'alam u'li'amei halmaya, and then you repeat it the same way. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha. Let the congregation say brichu, and then you say brichu connecting to the next words. Brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. The Ma'ariv Amidah is said silently from 592 to 610. On 610, you'll see it says at the bottom of the page, end of Amida. You can add in an Oseh Shalom or something like that if you'd like, from the English or the Hebrew. We then continue with Kaddish Shalem, the full Kaddish, page 612. Staying in this nusach, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabah, Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye decho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabah mevarach li'alam u'li'almei almaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. Let them say bריחו, then you say בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן ביעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות תהון ובאות תהון דכל ישראל קודם אבוהון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. The service continues with Aleinu on page 614. This is a lovely tune that is great for weekdays, written for the Mariv of weekdays by Chazan Charles S. Davidson, my emeritus Chazan at Congregation Adif Jeshurun. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Now from there, if you wanted to, you can go into the AJ tune for Shehunot Shamayim, or the more commonly heard Shehunot Shamayim v'yosei da'aretz. Not my first choice. Weekday Mariv is perfectly legitimate to just continue privately. And at the end, you could stay in the nusach. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yehi Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You could switch to major. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. As I like to say, good luck, or in Hebrew, behatzlacha.